We love talking to Ben Volin from the Boston Globe here on the Rich Eisen Show. Ben, Dan Hellie here filling in for Rich. Are you down at the annual meeting there in Arizona?
Yeah, Dan. Yeah, and I love talking to you, Dan. It's a beautiful day here in Phoenix. The sun is shining. It's 80 degrees. There are worse places in the world to be right now.
Okay, so you're in Arizona. You normally live in Boston. Clearly the weather is better down there. I was making the case earlier that, at least from my standpoint, working for NFL Network, having gone to the annual meeting, a.k.a. the owners' meeting for 3 or 4 years in a row, one of the great events to really cover when you have all that firepower under one roof.
It is a pretty unique event, and it's pretty special to be, you're at the bar, hanging out at night, having a cocktail, and you look to your right, and there's John Elway, and you look to your left, and there's Jerry Jones, and it is fun to rub elbows with these people, and obviously the NFL is pretty big, and a lot of important business gets conducted here over 3 days, but it's also a good time to unwind and go to a warm place and let the blood thin out a little bit and network with some NFL people. So this is definitely one of the better events on the calendar during the year.
We will get to some of that business here in a moment. First, what was the level of surprise there around the league and from the Patriots specifically when Gronk announced his retirement in the most Gronk-like way on Instagram?
Yeah, a decent amount of surprise for sure. From what I'm told, he only called Robert Kraft yesterday morning and informed him that he was going to retire. And the Patriots, they were kind of foreseeing, okay, he's probably going to announce it soon, within a week or so. And then all of a sudden, boom, it's on Instagram. And the team's like, oh, I guess he's announcing it now. So I think in that sense, it caught some people by surprise that it happened very abruptly. And look, we all knew this was a possibility. Rob Gronkowski during last season didn't look like himself for most of the year. 9 years of football have clearly taken their toll on him. And obviously last year he was already toying with retirement. So this was clearly on the table. But frankly, I thought he was going to be coming back. The way he ended the season, he was so durable and dependable over the last month and a half of the season, played a lot of snaps, was still making some big catches, was good in the run game for them, was still a very solid player. So I thought he was going to be coming back just with how positive last season ended. And so, yeah, I was a little surprised that he retired. The timing also 2 weeks after free agency started. Maybe the Patriots, had they known 2 weeks ago, they would have gone harder after a tight end, maybe someone like Jared Cook. The timing of it is certainly surprising. And but overall, no one is too shocked to see Gronk, after all he's been through, finally walking away from the game.
Wouldn't be surprised if the Patriots make a move. Maybe there's a tight end. There's 2 tight ends out of Iowa, Noah Fant and T.J. Hawkinson, who are very talented, expected to go in the first round, according to our lead draft analyst, Daniel Jeremiah, over at NFL Network. Ben Volin on the phone with us now from the Boston Globe. How real was that trade proposal to Detroit to go to Motown and play there for Patricia?
Yeah, it was real. I think they had a deal on the table where the Patriots would have gotten the Lions' first-round pick last year. And, part of me wonders if the Patriots really were just using it as kind of leverage against Gronk to get him to show up to off-season workouts and to training camp, because he was holding out at the time. And so he and Belichick had a meeting 2 days before the draft where I believe Belichick kind of laid it all out on the table and said, look, we have this trade for Detroit here, and we just need to know your plans. And Gronk said, nope, I want to be back. I only want to catch passes from Tom Brady. So I'll commit to this year. And so then I think the Patriots took that trade off the table. But it was there just because they didn't know what Gronk was going to do last year, and he was threatening retirement and all that. And so, even today, less than 12 hours after Gronk retires, his agent is going on ESPN this morning and already planting the seeds. Well, maybe Gronk in December decides that he wants to come back and the Patriots need him, and he's already planting the seeds for a Gronk comeback. So, I wouldn't maybe totally hold my breath and see, that Gronk is fully retired and maybe he does eventually come back. But it seems like he's taken a lot of beatings over the last 9 years, a lot of surgeries, and he's ready to hang him up and move on to the next phase of his life.
Of course, that behooves Drew Rosenhaus if Gronk comes back at some point and gets paid. But Gronk's own words to Rosenhaus, I'm done. What do you want to see Gronk do next?
I want to see Gronk. I mean, I'm sure he'll, try to continue to be a pitch man. He's got some major endorsements, Dunkin' Donuts, Tide, national brands. I'm sure he'll still be a big presence around Boston, especially with Dunkin' Donuts. I'd love to see him go into the WWE. I think he's a natural for professional wrestling. He's already shown up at WrestleMania. And I know he's good friends with John Cena and a lot of those guys in professional wrestling. He's like a perfect personality for that. We'll see if he can get into action movies. I know Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson kind of has the market cornered on being an action star right now, but it's not like Arnold Schwarzenegger was, a Shakespearean trained thespian or anything. So if he could do it, maybe Gronk can do it too.
That's true. I mean, he only became the governor, but initially, yeah, Arnold was in there. Or you could say the same thing actually about Sylvester Stallone, who I would actually equate closer to Gronk's status there. I can't wait to see what he does. My vote is that he should take up residency in a Las Vegas nightclub and become a host/DJ. Maybe he could have like a 6-month span there, filling for the Chainsmokers or something.
He can just be the hype man.
There you go.
Bring him out on stage, and he takes off his shirt, and he dances around and gets everyone into it. That's an obvious move for him.
So no Gronk there offensively for the Patriots. Obviously, they've won a Super Bowl when Gronk has gone down in the past. On the field, how big of an effect is this going to have for them? And do you think this expedites a Tom Brady retirement at all?
No, I don't think it ultimately does that for Brady. He's going to keep playing, and he's been around for so long now that he's used to teammates coming and going. Losing Gronk is still a significant loss. He's not the same Gronk from earlier in his career. Didn't quite have the same explosion and power that he used to, but he was still a very good player, a plus player, you would say. Someone who played a lot of snaps. In that AFC Championship game against Kansas City, he played all 97 snaps, and it wasn't just going and running routes. He was doing a lot of run blocking, very complete tight end. You don't see too many of those in today's NFL. A lot of the tight ends are receiving tight ends now. So Gronk was a pretty rare player. Not the same dominant guy, but probably, their number 2 or number 3 option in the passing game. And just the timing of it, maybe they would have made a harder run at Jared Cook if they had known that Gronk was going to retire 2 weeks ago. There aren't too many great options out there to replace him. The kids in the draft are the obvious ones, Hawkinson and Fant, both from Iowa. Bill Belichick goes way back with Kirk Ferentz, the Iowa coach. He was on Belichick's staff in Cleveland 25 years ago, and the Patriots have 5 or 6 guys on their roster from Iowa, so they've obviously got their eye on those 2 kids. But picking number 32, they're going to have to trade up most likely to get one of them. I don't know if either are going to be there. There's always a trade market. Last year, we didn't know who the Patriots left tackle was going to be, and then all of a sudden they swung a trade for this guy Trent Brown on draft weekend, and ended up being an unbelievable move. So there's still 6 months till they have to play, and Belichick, there are a million different ways for him to come up with players, but the easiest way is free agency, and they have missed out on the few, starting caliber tight ends, possibly because of the timing of Gronk's retirement here.
Yeah, it's worked out pretty well for Trent Brown, that whole situation, didn't it?
Yeah, not bad. You come to the Patriots for 1 year, you get to start all 19 games, win a Super Bowl, and then become the highest paid offensive lineman in league history and go to the Raiders. So I'd say, the Patriots have people say the Patriots don't like to pay their players, which isn't always a fair criticism, but playing for the Patriots gets you paid, whether it's Malcolm Butler or Chandler Jones or Trey Flowers and Trent Brown. They all got paid. It just didn't come from the Patriots. So playing in New England still is a good opportunity for these guys.
Yeah, Nate Solder getting paid as well. Of course, when he leaves New England, you look at so many guys on that roster, and they have to take a little bit less to potentially stay there. Julian Edelman is one who comes to mind. Going to be interesting to see not only who they draft, but what other holes they try and fill on that Patriots roster. The defending Super Bowl champs no longer going to have their I'm already going to call him a first ballot Hall of Fame tight end, Ben Volin. I hope that's okay with you.
I'm good with if you want to call him a first ballot Hall of Famer. Even though he only played 9 years, the man was as dominant at his position as they come. I think he deserves first ballot. And like I said, a rare specimen in today's NFL where most of the tight ends are receiving tight ends, and he was a true inline, run blocking tight end as well, who was excellent in that phase of the game. So it won't be easy. And look, the Patriots, they don't just need tight ends; they need wide receivers as well. They have Julian Edelman and a bunch of guys who have never caught a pass in an NFL game. They lost out on Adam Humphries. They didn't really go after Golden Tate too hard. they have 12 draft picks, and so they're going to need to use them to really add a youth infusion to the offense and remake Tom Brady's passing game, or use them and make some trades around draft weekend and try to find some veterans. But they got to get Tom Brady some help because it's him and Julian Edelman and some running backs, and they don't really have wide receivers or tight ends right now.
You're right. Adam Humphries going to Mike Vrabel's Tennessee Titans, another slot guy similar to Julian Edelman. Golden Tate ending up with the New York Giants. Ben Volin, have fun there in Arizona. Enjoy the lobby because I know it's going to be action-packed. Please say hi to some of my NFL Network friends.
I will definitely do that. Thank you for having me on today, Dan.
All right, Ben Volin from the Boston Globe, one of the best in the business.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.